What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another, wow, not episode of anything. It's actually an episode of the Qualifiers. Get a little like used to my own intros there on the other side of things. Welcome to the Masters Qualifiers, guys. My name is Rainy. This is Hi-Rez, pretty hair, and let's get into the schedule for today. You know you're here to watch some Paladins esports action, and it's here on North America, this side of the turf. We're in Atlanta. Panda. Oh boy. We have a new squad that has entered the Paladins esports realm. Formerly Team Xenasi now is a part of Panda Global, so you'll see the same players just under a different name. First match, though, will be Astral Authority versus Eager, Nick, and then we'll follow up with that Panda matchup versus AGG.
It looks like the Panda logo is scaring the AGG logo away. But he's trying to maintain his like edgy persona.
He's trying to make the sound, man, the classic, the Panda sound. So in terms of what we got going on today as well in Paladins, the realm as we like to call it, there are some giveaways you could be a part of in terms of stuff that we're giving away in game when you get your first win of the day. Chests going to be rolled for you if you want some emotes, some sprays, all those kind of good things for you. You'll be able to get first wins of the day's Radiant chests. What, Nick?
Nothing, bro.
Chest hype.
Chest hype.
It's pretty exciting for us here. We're ready for the maps for the first game as well. We're excited. We're having fun. Hopefully you're having fun watching. Let's take a look at the first game here. It'll be Astral Authority versus Team Eager.
Yep.
And that means they'll be playing Jaguar Falls. First map, Nick. Couple of bans.
The number 1 and the number 2 seed Frozen Guard banned out. That was pretty popular yesterday. Ice Mines actually I don't think saw a whole lot of bans yesterday, but Eager wanting to stay away from that one. Astral Authority wants to stay away from the Frozen Guard. Jaguar Falls is where we will head. The champion draft ready to go. Let's hop in there.
Let's hop into Junte.
Let's see what the pick is going to be after Ying.
Exactly, right? It's like, what's going to be the second and third pick here? Eager, go with the Makoa. So surprising everyone just out of the blue. What's this saying to you when the Makoa first pick for Eager?
They have something in mind, right? They don't, necessarily place a tremendous amount of value on Ying to the fact that they're going to forego the first pick. More so to the point, I think that Makoa is going to be more important for whatever strategy that they have in mind. It could be Makoa Grover. We saw Astral Authority actually run that pretty effectively, Makoa being very effective part of their strategy. Well,
now you look at Astral Authority not even taking a healer here. So Ying not on the first 3 picks at all for both Eager and Astral Authority. And we have to bring this up. We have to reiterate this every single weekend. What you saw in Europe, you will not see in North America. They play very differently. They have different metas. They're totally different histories between one another. And especially these two teams, stolzey being on the side of Eager, Astral Authority having some former teammates. They all used to play together and now really trying to vie for the number 1 seed.
And Eager pick up a Drogos.
Wow.
I'll be damned.
I saw
Ying's 6th picks, Eager picks Drogos 2nd. Crazy.
And
Eager traditionally doesn't take Drogos. They've stayed away from it, but it's just too good to pass up, especially against the Torvald Salvo. Absolutely slaughters Torvald. Even with record 1 online, it already is getting you good value for that. Fire Spit also just so effective at breaking a deployable clump that Bear can create.
Victor running out and squadding up with Astral Authority right now. Looking pretty tanky, got some decent damage on that side. Last pick will be theirs as the Grok and Maldamba follow suit for Team Eager. So 2 healers, Grok kind of playing that pseudo-healer damage role, and then Pip, talk about pseudo-healers. He knows when he's mentioned, and he jumps into the lineup for Astral Authority here. And gosh, on Jaguar Falls, there's so many different champions here who can excel.
Yeah, into a solo frontliner, the Pip coming out a little bit strange for me. Normally Pip's picked up as kind of, when Drogos is already taken, a nice response. The Evil Mojo is obviously a good answer to take out multiple frontliners, but we'll have to see how it plays out. stolzey will be playing the Drogos for Team Eager, has yet to pick his legendary. Wi-Fi will be taking Makoa. Pluck is his legendary choice. Combustible for the time being for stolzey. ShadeeyShades gone with the recurve for Shaolin, Maelstrom Grok for Bitey. And of course, Spirit's chosen for Rise Maldamba.
WarDoom on the side of Astral Authority going to run Field Study, 40% more damage on the shield. Lifelike going to be run by Ying. Catalyst for doesupz at the moment. Evulli running the Fortify legendary, and then Gunnery, the aim down sights legendary for iDropBodies on Victor. Jaguar falls close. Titan it map. Unicorn mounts coming in from that Valentine's chest, now being sported by the boys. And first off, gets impaled. Grenade goes back, but no damage yet. And the first blood still elusive for both teams. Some damage onto the shield that comes up. And WarDoom admittedly taking a very aggressive approach onto the point. Now this combustible is just doing work. And you can see the vision of everyone there. Hits another 3. stolzey is just doing work with this Drogoz. WarDoom now at 300 health. No shield, no cooldowns. Yet he decides to run back onto the point because that's where Ying is. And that is the benefit of having that kind of healer.
He stays alive, just barely though. stolzey shredding this composition, this clump up. This is why Drogoz is so highly valued in this type of meta. You can see him just ripping damage. Actually missed the fire spit because he didn't have any more rockets, but already with the Dragon Punch charged up. Most members are sitting around 50 to 60% on their ultimate. Drogoz way ahead of the pack.
Well, you know, it just seemed like Shaolin helped set the pace of that fight. You know, free-firing Victor changes the way WarDoom's able to stand on the point exposed. That damage would be devastating to him. But because Shaolin able to get a great shot early on, forced the Victor out of the fight, gave them the extra poke potential they needed to just combat with them for a while, it ended up being completely in their favor. Here's an early ult as well coming in from doesupz, takes down ShadeeyShades. iDropBodies now finds Wi-Fi, and so this continues to go forward in the way of Astral Authority. Eager on the back foot.
They have to be careful. This is exactly how they lost last week. Astral Authority just got so much momentum over Eager. We're able to keep them staggered, able to keep the payload rolling the whole time, winning in less than 9, less than 8 minutes. Just blazing pace set by Astral Authority, and they look to keep this up. This style of heavy momentum play is working out well for them as they find the conversion in the first round.
Huge. Eager have nothing to say about this, and considering the fact that you've got the Barrack and you've got the Torvald, it's just too hard for them to break through everything and kind of keep their eyes on the prize. Who do you go for? When do you go for them?
This is kind of to be expected. Obviously, you don't want to give up the conversion if you can help it, but Astral Authority's composition is a little bit more death volley, a little bit more point-centric, just more HP, just more mitigation to be able to bully their way and stick around on the point. So they're supposed to take this early. Hopefully, Eager with Wreckers and Cauterize can come back, but the whole strategy here for Astral Authority is momentum. They're going to win the game before Eager have enough credits to get Cauterize 2 online, to get Wrecker 2 online. You can see that already reflected in the items. Wrecker 1's online for stolzey and ShadeeyShades. They can't afford anything else.
My God, they can't even pick up Resilience 2, and it's one of the cheapest items in the game. Only going to be 400 credits for that, but still missing a pretty penny due to the fact that they did not get the extra 300 from winning the capture objective. WarDoom with an easy kill there on the Wi-Fi, and right now picking the first, Makoa first over Ying seems to be a regrettable decision for all of Eager. They have not had the type of success they want, especially that front line, which Wi-Fi's admittedly done pretty well on in the past, has just had no relevance in this game.
stolzey taking a lot of damage anytime he pokes his head out to try and get something done on the point. 66 already on the point, and there comes the Hyper Beam. ShadeeyShades was blown off the map, 3 for 1 as stolzey does manage to pick up Evulli.
Evulli gets taken down, but here we go. WarDoom and iDropBodies here. That field study gonna help him get all the damage he needs, but he doesn't even need it right there. He gets it at the very end, but Awry was basically dead and dusted. The Maldamba goes down, and Kusqt on the Ying still alive. Bitey finally taking down iDropBodies after a great stun from ShadeeyShades, who had been thrown off the map earlier. But things are looking good for the boys of AA. 2 minutes, 14 seconds on the clock. Some ultimates ready. We could see another pimp ult here, Nick, if he decides to use it.
Absolutely, and that's what kind of spurred the momentum on for Astral Authority as they rounded the corner here. Wi-Fi into the shell shield, just forced to back up. dosuphz positioning for it, but it gets shut down.
Get stunned? That's what it was. The stun comes out, maybe. It might have been a weird interaction where he was not finished aiming. He was maybe doing a flick shot and gets stunned out of actually hitting anyone with that ultimate. So very, very unlucky for Kusqt. Very good stuff by the boys of Eager to force that stun onto him, possibly an Awry stun. They actually, I think, did that with the Maldamba, so very, very effective stuff. Of course, they've got the Impale Arrow from Shaolin as well, but it has not stopped dosuphz's 13 streak here on the pip, who's just continuously barraging them with damage.
Metal to the metal here for Astral Authority. They dropped 1 kill, but haven't shown any signs of slowing down. The Dragon Punch trying to get something done. We'll find WarDoom with a Dome Shield to try and close this game out.
Wow.
They're going to find it, man. Momentum is the name of the game. Eager have got to switch up their draft to stop this momentum from Astral Authority. This is a team that plays too well when they're ahead.
Well, the other thing is that, are they regretting not picking Ying first pick? Not even picking Ying second
I don't
or
even.
third.
If you look at the draft, right, Torvald and Barrick were the 1 and 2 selections in the second phase of the draft for Astral Authority. So right now, Astro is prioritizing what tanks they want. These are the ones they feel are important to keeping their momentum up. They happened to get Ying first, or they didn't even take the Ying first pick. They took it third. So everything is a little bit up in the air right now, but just Astral Authority prioritizing their tanks, their frontliners, their control over the team fight.
And it's not, again, really even the issue that they weren't able to compete in the healing factor, right? I mean, you just see that 43,000 damage healing still by Awry, so feels confident on the Madamba or the Ying, but things did not go well for Wi-Fi up front. And on paper, this looks a lot better for Eager. You would not have expected a 4-0 like that, at least that quickly.
Having the pip on such a good streak as well, the momentum was always on their side off the back of those Evil Mojos. Game 2 will be on Serpent Beach. We'll see if they can switch up anything in the draft. Try and get this back online, but the Victor free firing, Victor beating a Drogos against a death ball comp when the Drogos is hitting those 4-man fire spits is pretty nuts to think about. So no real pressure put on iDropBodies in the last game, and then a free firing Victor is always going to end at a bad time. You
know, the other thing that's interesting was we head into the draft here. We still don't see Ying picked up. doesupz doesn't always play. I don't even know if I remember the time that I've seen doesupz play Pip.
He's been playing it on stream a lot, actually. That was kind of like how I figured out
the address of the change.
Yeah, the healing potion thing. He kind of pointed it out to me because he's been playing it.
Yeah.
Been liking it.
And he hasn't brought necessarily that out in this competitive scene on the big stage, but he's trimmed Eager. They know each other. They probably expected a little bit of this doesupz Pip. Kusqt taking obviously the healer role there, but still shot calling. He mentioned earlier on in the week, I love shot calling. I like being behind the scenes and directing my teammates. I don't need to be the damage dealer, and didn't die once as Ying, and Astral Authority will have that resource again for Kusqt to be on in this game.
Still have the Ruckus available to them. Don't need to take it right now, though. I like the switch up in the draft here, taking the Drogos instead, because it is going to be so good against double frontliner, especially a Barrick, who is likely to be just kind of planted on the point, hoping, trying to survive as best he can, as well as Team Eager have already taken 2 frontliners, so they don't need to take the Ruckus just yet if they want to go into that.
They could flex the healing here. Madamba a little early, I would think, considering the fact that we saw Wolves fall into this trap against Burrito the other day, Nick. You know, you pretty much know you're going to take the Madamba, but again, here's the trap that Burrito would do. They take this early so that, considering Astral Authority know they need Madamba, now they can kind of do a counter pick here against what Astral Authority pick up.
They save their final pick here. Buck, the selection.
This is bad.
That's always a good takeaway from ShadeeyShades. I mean, Perdo was a monster with this pick on Serpent Beach yesterday. So that's the Grover. Hopefully landing some of those crippling throws to try and slow down this Buck. I like the pickup, actually. He's got to land sooner or later. Just save that crippling throw for that. Get it. Also, we got the Makoa hook as well. A lot of potential lockdown for this Buck. I don't expect it to run quite as rampant as Perdo was able to do yesterday.
Well, we'll see. They've got 2 healers on the side of Eager. They've got 1 on the side of Astral Authority, but they've got 2 tanks and 1 mean dragon as well. Field study going to be run by WarDoom right now. Bounce House Buck on Kusqt. Just as I mentioned him healing, he's going to go and have himself some fun. Combustible for Evulli, one of the better Drogos we've seen in North America. Lifelike for Ying, played by doesupz this time. An aerial assault for Ruckus. Some extra mobility for iDropBodies.
4 to 5 will be the selection for stolzey's Barrick Pluck for Wi-Fi's Makoa. Firefight. So the hip fire actually looking to box out a little bit better, probably with the Buck. Deep Roots, obviously the crippling throw for ShadeeyShades, Lockdown, and Spirits chosen. The Throughput legendary for Awry's Madamba. 2 Wreckers, 2 Cauterizes is the selections for Eager. 1 Chronos for Awry, 3 Cauterize, 1 Wrecker. Evulli thinks he can get it done all on his own.
WarDoom with this Master Riding. You didn't like Master Riding for a while, Nick. One of the reasons why is your logic was, once I get off my mount, it's done. I don't use it for the rest of the fight. WarDoom just gets it into the fight a little bit faster, but I'd be curious how he uses that moving forward in the secondary rounds if he decides to keep flanking, as is typical of him. And that aggressiveness, that flank coming out from all the members of Astral Authority has proved to be just as valuable as any type of card selection could be, giving them 60% on the capture objective, and Eager a full wipe yet again.
Another momentous victory in that team fight for Astral Authority. This team has been meshing really, really well. They have really come together, especially in the last couple weeks of open qualifiers. Kusqt Backs off though. Goes back
So
in.
safe.
Looking for Barrack right now. Just needs to know when he needs to play this a little bit careful because obviously the Makoa and the Deep Roots Grover, there is a lot of potential lockdown for this buck to be punished, but we have yet to see that come through.
And this is just major snowball. You know, ShadeeyShades is good as dead here. Bitey's not going to have a good time. Actually goes for the BM there. Kusqt just having a little bit of fun with Bitey in the corner, knowing that he's the one in charge right now. The payload still pushing, and actually a pause by Bitey. Maybe that triggered some emotions, triggered some feelings there. And they're all in base. No combat happening right now, so we will see if, you know, this actually is as big a deal as Kusqt is making it. They went 4-0. This is supposed to be one of the better teams. stolzey left this team, this squad, this core, and went to Eager to try and be a better unit. And Astral Authority last weekend, and now, right now in the Masters qualifiers, are proving that they are way more ready to handle this situation than Eager.
There's a lot of, you know, things that go into decisions like that. I mean, you look at Spunky, he was kind of stuck on support, right? And, you know, Burrito, they got rid of him, and now look at him on, he's doing so well in the Interloper squad, playing a wide variety of roles, stuff we never saw him play on Burrito, so just a matter of finding that synergy, finding where you fit in best. Evulli is going to go down to Wi-Fi. Eager 5 strong on the high ground, but the payload isn't being attended to right now as it rounds the final corner here, looking for the conversion.
Great job by Ying as well. Want to just point out doesupz shepherding that payload car. We used to see Grok do that better than anybody back in the days. Now Grok, he's fragging out, and Ying, she's escorting the payload. There's Kusqt, pops into the buck wild, gets hit by 3, smashes down onto 3. Heroic leap, trying to do the deed, goes through the shields. Now he's getting the pressure. Will he find the kill? He'll get the leap damage. The hyper beam might secure it. Wi-Fi goes down. stolzey off the map. Kusqt on an 8 streak, and Astral Authority in charge, 2-0.
Couple of kills though found at the end for Eager. They gotta find some way to stabilize here. It just seems like, I don't know if it's their draft, I don't know if they're disagreeing with each other. We don't really know why they took that pause. Was it to kind of regroup themselves? Was it a technical difficulty pause? A lot of things going wrong for Eager and a lot of things going right for Astral Authority. All the momentum on their side. They have not slowed down once. Kusqt sitting on 800 credits, dumps off 600 of those into Cauterize 2. doesupz and Bodies already on the mark for Cauterize 2. Evulli with the Record 2 online. WarDoom with Master Riding 2. Just all the pieces are in place to keep this snowball rolling.
If we could see WarDoom here as he goes into battle, I want to really see how much use he's getting out of this Master Riding. Is it just getting to the point? Does he want to flank? He just wants to get on this objective actually first. It's the option, Nick. It's the ability to see something happen and react to it. WarDoom just really prioritizing keeping his teammates alive, and I'm surprised at how little poke he has taken standing directly on the point. Full line of sights of everyone on the side of Eager. They're just dealing with so much, and that's Kusqt's buck, but they do get a kill. Bitey returns the favor, and actually without the BM and just with the straight damage, gets Buck off the battlefield for the first time in forever, it seems like.
WarDoom in a bad spot. It's going to go down to the hip-firing Victor. Big heals coming through, going to top Bitey back up. Just keeping that hip fire going, wants to get the accuracy in there from time to time. Spots out the buck. Teats grenades, so that's a lot of extra bonus damage. There's a dragon punch from an Evulli, though, taking down Wi-Fi.
iDropBodies getting the pressure of Bitey, who's on a 5 streak now, 78% and counting for Eager, but Astral Authority have started to retake their position. Now, with the Dread Serpent coming out, WarDoom feared away, and Bitey's able to just spam those bullets onto him. Kusqt rooted with Grover, and that's why they took the last pick. That's why they did the counter for Buck. And look at this, Eager, all of a sudden, after a pause and a couple of grenades from Bitey, and a couple of roots from Grover, have found their answer to Astral Authority.
Beautiful adjustment, I feel, and just the team fight philosophy out of Eager here. Bitey on this Victor is going to be a majority of their damage. So rather than giving Kusqt on the buck the angle to come in and try and pick off Bitey, Bitey's just sticking with his healers. He's just sticking on the point. He's using that hipfire legendary and just going toe-to-toe.
Actually, a very huge barrage. Hits 2, and now Kusqt in a bit of trouble. It's a good room for him, actually. Kusqt going to jump right in, get the kill. But Evulli gets credit for that one. Over in the top ledges, no one is paying attention to the dragon, and now these long-range rockets are bound to hit somebody. He's just free-firing into the back line. A combustible there, mid-air. Oh, he gets it. Isn't enough to kill. No, will the second one be not enough yet? Healing still keeping them alive, because they do have a Grover over there and a Maldamba Gourd as well to stand on, but stolzey finally falls. And a minute and 30 seconds left. That should be, oh, didn't hit him at the back, but Evulli still applying so much pressure for Astral Authority.
A lot of long-range poke coming out, making it very easy for Kusqt on this buck to just find these confirmable kills. You can see him all the way in the back line there. WarDoom going for a cheeky hyper beam, does find the Grover. ShadeeyShades taken off the map, 1 minute and 10 remaining in the round, so still plenty of time to get that charge back up as well.
That wasn't necessarily huge value, though. I mean, the thing is, WarDoom does that, and I think there's almost a mentality to doing that. WarDoom and the boys of Astral Authority here, always been very confident in themselves. You saw a little bit of the BM earlier from Kusqt. I wonder if that's just another mind game. Hey, we know you're not aggressing. We know this isn't a very important decision. I know that in a minute I could probably use that ultimate a little bit more than now, and I'm still going to use it just to make you salty and try and see if I can tilt your gameplay experience. That's what WarDoom is an expert at.
Just trying to buy time right now. You see Evulli finds a nice pick on the stolzey around the corner, but even look at Kusqt's buck. He drawed fire from the front line. For a couple of seconds, he pulled the Grover, he pulled the Makoa's attention away. Finds stolzey in the front line. Evulli doing a good job keeping up all this pressure. One more fire spit around the corner, over the top, off the side. ShadeeyShades just trying to get off the map and just prevent himself from getting staggered from the rest of his team. 15 seconds remain here. 40% on WarDoom's Hyper Beam, so might not be able to get that charge all the way back up.
And that's where you get frustrated, because you see that after all is said and done, he didn't need it. It wasn't maybe a salty ult, maybe it was tactical, but it just looks like they don't even need that ultimate, and that's the frustration there. They're using their resources almost willy-nilly and coming out ahead of these fights almost effortlessly here. And it seems just like Eager has everything going against them. ShadeeyShades has his ult available, Maldamba as well, Nick. Bitey and Wi-Fi going in there with full ult charges. This could be the round. This has to be the round for them to change things up.
They did close the gap on the credits, though. Team Eager starting to get some of those later game items. The Wrecker 2's online for Wi-Fi. ShadeeyShades. Bitey actually getting his Cauterized 3 there. WarDoom will be seeing some competition on the point as stolzey has hit the Master Riding 2 mark as well. So he'll be meeting WarDoom just about at the same point. It's important for Barrack to be able to get set up there before he feels too much pressure. So we're going to ride along with WarDoom here and see who wins the race to the point.
Going straight to the point yet again. It's worked every single time thus far. Didn't win the point capture, but now look, he's on the mount, and it should gives him the ability to rotate if he needs to. And this is what I was expecting from Eager, to just go into it. Here's the Dragon Punch, though. Evulli wants to get some damage. He's getting focused. Oh, and he finally finds stolzey, 200 health. He's going to stay alive and get to the Ying clones to get the healing. Salvo pops out. No damage from that, but a huge fire spit. He hits it. Gonna hit one more. Oh, Evulli getting the damage, but Whirlwind by Grover mitigates almost all of it. And now the combustible can start to hurt. What a great slither by Awry to stay alive.
And he's already back to 73% on that Dragon Punch. Won't be coming through. stolzey's going to eat another one. It looks like Hyper Beam does come out, but Dome Shield on the point. 60% for Astral Authority. 46 and now 50 and climbing for Eager.
And this is a problem. They've got the Dread Serpent, and they're going to use it right here. They don't want to deal with Kusqt at all, but what they don't know is Evulli is there with the Dragon Punch. The Ying is still alive, and Evulli trying to hunt down stolzey yet again. He's going to find him. The Ancient Rage forced out by Wi-Fi, but this could be the end of a 10,000 HP turtle. In fact, it is. Great ultimate saving. This could be the game here with Astral Authority. 99%, 100%, 2-0. The best of 3 set over Eager. And what seems like, wow.
That was quick.
Couple of minutes.
A beautiful team fight there at the end from Astral Authority, but just Evulli. Oh my God, just the Dragon Punch comes out, huge fire spits, gets him back almost instantaneously to 75% charge, and then we switch over to his camera, see him pick up 2 kills and Dragon Punch and Ancient Raging Makoa. I mean, that is a value team fight. You can see it there on the scoreboard as well. 115,000 damage, 20 and 4. Evulli having a beautiful game on the Dragon.
My problem with this lineup a little bit on the side of Eager, and I think that things didn't go well. I think they got to go back to the drawing board here. I think Astral Authority's had their number, and I think they know that. We don't have to tell them that. I'm always a fan of using your assets. We talked about yesterday. You build a draft, you build a lineup, go ahead and use that lineup the way it's intended to do. You put a player on your team like stolzey, I don't think you can really put him on Barrack. I really don't think you can do that. When you have someone who's got that type of mechanical skill, who's got that clutch finishing potential, you have to put him on a character that allows him to do that, even if your draft has to shift a little bit. I see the intention for what they were going for, but in the future, I'd like to see really Eager, if they're going to bring stolzey over, you got to let stolzey do his thing. You got to let him run wild.
I mean, maybe it might just be a product of the meta, unfortunately. If stolzey's, characters aren't in the meta right now.
There are players that surpass the meta, man. There's got to be
some
in every sport.
Androxus games.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Mudastina absolutely just showed it. Androxus could be fantastic.
So that's going to do it for Astral Authority and Eager. Match number 2 will be AGG versus Panda Globa. That should be a pretty close matchup. Those teams have always kind of been back and forth.
It's going to be an exciting one. These games just got rid of so much, I think, maybe jitters for people starting out. It's the first weekend, so, you know, obviously interlopers, they didn't have a great successful time yesterday, even though they're a great team, now eager, not having the best of time starting out, although they're a great team. I think everyone is now trying to get their grips on what this new competition will be like. We do, though, have the first wins of the day available for you if you're just catching up with us on the stream. If you go into Paladins right now, you win your first game, and you win another game, you win another game, you're going to get 3 chests, and you can get 3 of those each day for the next couple of days, or maybe the next day here, considering it's the end of the weekend in just a second. We'll be heading to a break, and we'll be right back with more Masters Qualifiers action here. My name has been Rain Day, that's Hi-Rez Pretty Hair, and we'll see you back in just a second.